Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm making a video. I should be asleep. I really should be asleep. I have to be up early with my kids, but I got a wild hair at my ass, and I just kind of want to talk, get a couple things off my chest, and also play around with this new setup I'm working on. Just as a tester, I'm never happy with like any of my thumbnails or backgrounds or anything like that. I'm never happy. So I'm always changing, I'm always tweaking, and I'm always kind of looking to see what I can make better. And it's a flaw that I have. I have OCD on a lot of these issues because once I get it in my head, I become very obsessed with it. And it's one of the reasons why I like talking about movie talk, because there's so much in entertainment that there's always a lot for me to talk about. There's always a lot for me to talk about. The problem with it is, though, is that my interests, clearly in some cases, aren't your guys' interests. And that has been something that's been weighing on my mind for a while. It's not to say that we have to agree on everything, or we have to like the same things, or we have to be friendly all the time. Of course not. Well, I mean, I'm stubborn and I bicker with everybody. Follow me on Twitter. You might get sick and tired of how many times I fight with people. Or sometimes I get a wild hair at my ass when I'm here and I'm stubborn and I want to complain about something like Mike Zero doing something so stupid, or Doomcock, or whatever. But the thing is like, it's true. Videos about drama get views. Videos about stuff unrelated to movies, but within the community at large, kind of get views. Or stuff about a person, a celebrity, and nonsense that they've partaken in, or legal situations they find themselves in. It all becomes this weird mixture of just nothing but unintelligible noise half the time. And I find myself watching less and less and less of it on YouTube. I find myself watching fewer movie talk videos. I find myself watching fewer commentators talking about what's going on, because to me, it feels like the vast majority of it is just, and this is my own complaint about myself, to be fair, is just spinning my own wheels. You know, it's like get up and do the grind and the grind and the grind. And I don't mind the grind. I'm a very stubborn individual. The grind is part of the fun. But I kind of feel it has to be moving towards something. If you're going to grind, it has to be building towards something. Grinding for simply just trying to either stay relevant or stay afloat, or stay alive. Well, staying alive, and we always have to do that. But I mean, just in general, like when you look at YouTube as a whole, it becomes this massively frustrating experience after a while. You know, it's like I tune into a lot of live streams that my friends are on, and it always kind of boils down to the same conversation. I'm not upset at it. I'm not against it. The conversations are always fun. But I just kind of feel like we're old wartime buddies sitting around hawking the same stories. You know, remember that time this happened, and it's like nothing new. And this has a lot to do also with the fact that there's not much going on in Hollywood, that there's just not much happening with movies and entertainment. I mean, we know this at this point, that this industry has grinded to an absolute halt. And while there are things on the horizon, it has set so much back that it really is making me question everything. Because I find myself not looking to get into fights, but enjoying the fight. Does that make sense? You know, like I don't mind going up against certain people. I kind of look for it in some cases. And I ask myself, is that because I'm bored and there's nothing to talk about? Or am I just pent up? It's probably a mixture of both, to be fair. You know, the last 4 months, 5 months now, whatever it is, we've been cooped up. Tensions are running high. Friendships have been ending, all sorts of things. But new friendships come from it as well, obviously. So I ask myself every day. I ask myself every day, what is it that I want to talk about today? And what I want to talk about, generally speaking, takes time to research and time to put out there and time to source and time to edit and time to, build up. And then I realized I don't have the time for that. So I resort to these, let me talk into the camera videos because they're easier and they're fun and I don't mind them. But what I'd like to do is research and like break down things and talk about things, but I don't have the time. And that's another part of the frustrating aspect of it. It's no one's fault, it's circumstantial. It's just frustrating. I wish I could go back and see a movie. I wish I could go back and see a movie in the theaters. I wish I could go rent a movie. It's not from Redbox. I wish I could go and like walk through a Blockbuster right now. I mean, I wonder what there's one last Blockbuster I think it's in Bend, Oregon, which is about 5.5 hours away. Maybe I should just jaunt down there for a day, and go and walk around a Blockbuster a state and a half away. When you talk about movies, when your passion in life is movies and it gets taken away by no one's fault, really, it's just circumstantial. It sucks. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like, reviews seem like a good idea. If I go down the review path of like, we're just watching more things and reviewing more things, the likelihood of live streams are going to diminish. The likelihood of any other kind of content is going to diminish. I simply do not have the time. And I like talking with you guys. So that part's fun. It's a lot of fun. But then I'll be honest, there's the aspect of financial viability. A review can generate some income. Unless you guys pop up super chats or things like that, live streaming generally doesn't. And that's not a push or a thing like, that's just the reality of the situation. What I've been thinking about though has been like finding a way to like, maybe just, trying to move past like binge culture, so let me explain what I mean by that one. There's this thing that content creators have to do where we have to constantly watch new things or talk about new things and move on, right? It's this constant aggregation of content. And that doesn't really give us the time to sit down and experience things anymore. It becomes who can get it out the fastest, who can get the review up the first, who can get in that sweet algorithmic spot in order to get the most spread and get the most views and maybe get the new subscribers. All of those things. It is very weird. But it's the truth, And that part sucks. And the way my brain is wired, being as OCD as I am, it's so difficult for me to like put myself in that mindset, which is why I like doing like multiple news stories. I like to stack multiple stories because then I feel like I'm being the most productive. And the hardest part for me right now, the hardest thing for me to realize is to kind of take a step back and not be as productive on that front, but reorient my efforts into something more productive on the back end. And I think I'm going to have to try that. It's going to be very frustrating for me because I'm going to try to rewire my own habitual addictions. Does that make sense? Like I'm so used to doing it a certain way. I'm so used to cramming everything into 2 hours in the afternoon is usually what I get to work on stuff. If not, it's 2:30 in the morning right now, 2:22 in the morning right now, like it ends up being that whole thing. So I'm hoping I can get you guys to support on this one. Like those of you who watch frequently, those of you who enjoy, like leave comments, like let me know what you would like me to cover, things you want me to see, join the Facebook group, things like that. Because in my mind, I want to do everything. I want to be the best I can. I want to provide the most content. I want to provide the most coverage. I want to kick the most ass. But if you're a video gamer, you might be familiar with like Ubisoft titles, right? And how Ubisoft titles, generally their map has just millions of icons on it, right? Millions of icons. And my OCD kicks in when I played those games. And because there's so many things that are there, it distracts me from a lot of what's important. what I need to do in order to progress the story because I'm so distracted and I can't turn it off. And that's a lot of what happens. If you may wonder why I do content the way I do it, that's a big factor. So yeah, just, late night ramblings, frustration, months of frustration. And just trying. So I mean, if you guys enjoyed the content and you guys are here frequently, you guys kick ass, really. I know there's people that are going to come back and say, oh, just talk about what you want to talk about. And trust me when I say that's like the worst advice you could give someone like me, because I like so much. I like movies, television, internet information, background information of films. I like to know what's coming out, release dates, box office grosses, information overload. And that's kind of where I am right now. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. Anyway. Yeah, middle of the night ramblings. I like to kind of give these state of these updates every once in a while so people know what's going on. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just frustration is all it is. And after a while, you just kind of have to vent the frustration in order to get it out of you. And so I'm getting it out of me. I think one of the things I want to do is I do want to move away from drama. Like there's so many things I could dive into. I could just fight and fight and fight and fight and fight, but it's really at the end of the day, not worth it. Even though morally I'd probably be right in some cases with some people, but it's not worth it. It's a drain. It's a drag. It's negative energy, and negative energy yields more negative energy. It doesn't take us down the path of positivity. And you know what? That's what I would like to do. So I've got to figure out how to focus on that. And I really want to do more with talking to people, having the open call-ins. That's fun. Maybe not actually have a schedule for that. If I have a schedule, things could be a bit better. That much I can admit. So, well, we'll figure it out. I just wanted to put this out there and let you guys know where I stand. And I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for being here. Let's talk movies, old movies, new movies, TV shows. Let's move away from this nonsense because it's too goddamn tiring. And feel free to hold me to account on that one. Seriously. Because it's very easy to get caught up in the hey, let me talk about this current drama over here, even though it's really antithetical to the type of content I want to discuss here. All right, guys, I'll talk to you all later. Have a good one. Peace out.